Hey guys, hello, welcome back to our very bookish channel. If you're new here, my name is Amanda, and me and my friend Jen, we run this channel where we like to talk about all things books. And today, you guys are in for a treat because it is that time of the month where we get to talk about our dream list of books that we are going to read in November.
It is time for our November TBR, and I'm excited because that means we are in the home stretch for the release of Iron Flame, Yay! Which obviously my number one book on November TBR.
The reality is that we come up with this list of books that we are going to read in November, and we probably end up reading one or two of them. But here we go. First up on my list of books I'm going to read in November, I have two books that I'm going to be reading for a reading vlog. Jen's going to be reading the same books, so I'm going to keep this very brief. I am going to be reading The Woman in Me by Britney Spears and also reading Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. Iron Flame is not coming out until November 7th, so I don't have a copy of that yet, but I am going to get a copy and we're going to read it in a vlog, and I will let Jen tell you a little bit more about that book.
And I'm sure you guys are super surprised that it's going to be the number one book on our TBR for November. And as you guys know, it is the sequel to Fourth Wing, which we loved and we did a vlog on. I don't typically read fantasy, and I just fell in love with this book, all based on a coworker's recommendation, and I just fell for this book. I do think it got way overhyped, and if anyone's reading it now, I don't even know how it could possibly live up to that hype, but I loved it. I read it when it was fairly new out there, and I cannot wait to read the sequel to this. I don't even know if I would call it a sequel, because I have heard she has 5 books in this series. I don't know if it's technically a series, but 5 books in this world of Violet and Xaden and the Basquaith College, War College, which I actually have a shirt on right now for. So I'm hoping it takes place, I think I read somewhere, it's like 2 weeks. I could be getting my stories mixed up. I might be thinking of the sequel to Divine Rivals, but I'm really hoping it takes place right after the cliffhanger of Fourth Wing. And I just have this feeling that Ms. Rebecca Yarros is going to do another cliffhanger. I have a feeling that's just going to be her thing throughout these books. So I am eagerly anticipating getting my hands on one at the midnight release party, and it's about a week away, week and a few days. So I am super excited. We're doing a vlog. You will see all of our thoughts on that. So keep your eye out for that.
The next book I want to read is an arc. And you guys know that I love my arcs. I have a whole stack of them here to read. And this book actually released in October, so I have not read this book and reviewed it before the release date, but I still intend on reading it and letting you guys know what I think. And that is The Death of Us by Lori Rader Day. This book sounds like a domestic thriller. You're following a woman named Liz, and she lives in this small town, and one night a woman named Ashley shows up on her doorstep and hands her a baby and disappears. And Liz is raising this baby. It's a baby boy. She's raising this baby boy the best she can. She, loves this kid as if it was her own and provides for this kid. And she fears that one day Ashley's going to come back and disrupt the world that she has built for herself and this boy. And that does happen one day, but Ashley doesn't come back like you would think. They find Ashley's car, and it's been abandoned in a pond, and Ashley's nowhere to be found. So she disappears for a long time. Then all of a sudden, out of the blue, her car shows up abandoned in this pond, and she's nowhere to be found. So Liz tries to kind of figure out what has happened to Ashley, and over the course of investigating what's happened to Ashley and where she went, she uncovers all these little small town secrets. I am excited to read this because I recently read a book that had a small town setting and I enjoyed it. I loved kind of learning about how these people operate and the little politics of the small town, and it's just so cute and kind of like heartwarming. And although they fight amongst each other and they don't like each other, it's kind of like a sibling rivalry, because when it comes down to it, if there's an outsider threatening anyone in the town, they all band together, and I just kind of love that. So I am very curious to see what goes on in this. This seems to be like a darker book than the small town book that I recently read. So we will see. I don't think I'm going to get the whole small town camaraderie in this book. I feel like there's like a really evil person doing bad things and they're going to get in trouble.
And what's funny is the mix of books I have for November are like all over the place. And you'll see by the next one. And if you have watched our other videos and saw, we had a most anticipated for September, October. And I believe that's where we talked about the next one that we're doing a vlog for, which is Britney Spears, The Woman in Me. If you have paid any attention to news feeds right now and what's trending on TikTok, all about all of the revelations that Britney is talking about. Specifically, I think Justin Timberlake getting roasted for his poor behavior in their relationship. So even though I've seen a lot of, I guess you would call it spoilers, I've seen a lot of information leak out, I don't mind too much because I'm sure there's more in this book, and I just really am wanting to read it from her perspective. I've been a fan of Britney. I know in that video for the most anticipated, I made the shocking statement that I'm a huge fan of pop music. But I have liked her since college. That's when she first started to become big, and I really just liked her music. And then the rough years where she seemed, I hate to say it because I feel bad about it now, but she just seemed like she was having a mental breakdown, and she just seemed to have a mental illness or something going on, and I didn't know, and it just seemed sad at the time, especially when she shaved her head in 2007. And at the time, it felt a very quick turnaround because within a few months, I think she was already putting out a new album, going on tour. It seemed odd at the time, but I don't know how much I was really paying that close attention. And I didn't pay close attention from that period for a while after that. And I wasn't really listening to the newer albums she was putting out, like 2010 through 2015. But when me and my boyfriend went to Vegas in 2016, I actually went to her Vegas show, and I really thought it was fun. I found some pictures and video that I'm probably going to include in the vlog, and I'm just really looking forward to reading this and comparing against what I thought I knew about her, and then also sharing that with you guys on a vlog about how much I have paid attention. Especially, I paid more attention probably like late 90s through around the time when she started when she was having an obvious breakdown. And then I kind of lost track of her. But my favorite album of hers is the one that she did during the year that she seemed to be having a breakdown, the album Blackout. I love that album. So very curious as to what other revelations I'm going to read in here and sharing with you guys as we read along. Both of us recording our thoughts and sharing with you things that we find as we read this one. I think we're doing this one, might be before we're doing Iron Flame. I'm not entirely sure. I have to talk with Amanda. But in November, stay tuned.
The next book that I want to prioritize for the month of November is Three Assassins by Kataro Asaka. And if you guys saw our book haul video, I purchased this during a book haul video over the summer. I have not read it yet, but I have found out that this author also wrote Bullet Train, which has been turned into a movie. So, and I enjoyed the movie, so I am even more curious. And it says it right here, the author of Bullet Train, but for some reason that didn't like register in my head when I bought the book. But when I was looking at it on the shelf and paying closer attention to everything, I saw those letters. I think I was distracted by the picture because I love the cover of this book. I love the colors and the picture of the guy falling in the big city background. I don't know. I just feel like I focused mostly on the picture of the book, and I didn't even notice this down here. I know. I'm sorry. So I really want to get to this in the month of November and find out if this book is as crazy as the Bullet Train movie was.
So the next one on my list was also in the most anticipated, but for November, December. I was very lucky to get an ARC. I know Amanda really wants to read this one too. Mr. Lullaby, J.K. Markert. And he wrote a book called The Nightmare Man, which we both really loved. I think Amanda might have, she gave it 5 stars. I think I gave it 4 stars. Only because I felt the ending was rushed in that book. I really wanted more. I think it was more of me being irritated because that book started off so strong. It terrified me. I remember reading it before bed one night and I felt terrified. It's just a creepy book. And this one is about a young boy playing, and you can see it on the cover, abandoned tunnel, and he ends up in a coma. He wakes up, I don't know how long how long he's in a coma, but he wakes up and talks briefly to his brother about how he's trapped in this other realm or other side where there are creatures and things keeping those that are in a coma trapped on that side. It reminds me very much of like a Stephen King Stranger Things mixture, and that very much intrigues me. I've been wanting to read this, and I'm going to try reading this, I think, depending on when we're going to do the Britney Spears one. I was going to try and read this before Iron Flame. So it may end up after Iron Flame. I'm not sure, pending schedules, timing, etc. So we'll see. But I am very much looking forward to this book too.
The last book I am going to put on my November TBR is our mystery book of the month. So if you guys are new here, every month, well, at least the past 2 months, Jen and I have put a mystery book on our TBR. So we decide on a theme and we pick a book and we wrap it for you guys, and we don't unveil what the book is. We can give clues about the book, but we don't really unveil what it is until we read it for the reading vlog. So this month we decided we would pick a book that has been on our physical TBR for a very long time or a longer time. And this book that I have chosen is a book that I bought in December of 2022. It's been on my TBR forever. It is a popular YA fantasy, maybe romantasy book. It's surprising to me I haven't read it yet. Again, YA is not always my choice of genre, but I do love the YA fantasies and the YA dystopian novels, and this one's been on my TBR list for a long time, and I've had the book for a long time. I think that's all of the clues I'm going to give you guys. You will have to wait and see what we choose, but I did just put it in my book sleeve because I did not have any brown paper to wrap it in for this video, so I do have it in here in my book sleeve, and it's a mystery to you guys. So you will have to just check out some of our future videos to find out what this book is.
And I only have one more on my TBR because I don't anticipate, I feel like I'm a broken record. I keep saying that November, December is the busiest time of year for me. Holiday in general, work is the busiest time. I don't feel like I have a lot of time to read. So therefore, I'm not going to get as many done, and I'm trying not to create too much of a stress or a disappointment by having huge TBRs. Because October, spoiler alert for when we do the October recap, I had like some crazy number on my TBR. I think 6 or 7 books, which I don't even know what I was thinking. And spoiler alert, I did not get to that many. And I just don't like that feeling of not being able to like catch up or not getting to everything I want to. And I want to continue to enjoy reading and not be another stressor in my life. This is what I get to do to help like release some of the pressure. It's some of the escape that you get to do and not think about things that are stressful at work or what's going on otherwise. So me and Amanda have done now, this is the 3rd time where we pick a book and we call it a surprise. We wrap it so that we're not showing it in the video as to what title it is. And we have a theme every month. And this one, we are doing what's called a surprise TBR read. So the surprise TBR read is a book on our TBR that we haven't been able to get to and that we've really wanted to get to, and it's kind of forcing us to do it for a vlog. And I had a really hard time picking which one I wanted to do. Of course, it took me a long time to try and figure out which one I wanted to do. It's hard to pick it. It's really hard to pick the books. And so this one has not been that I can remember in any of my TBR videos. So it's going to be a surprise to you guys as well. I didn't do that on purpose. I was really trying to look at what I've had on my physical TBR and what did I really want to get to. And especially before the year ends. And this one, when I was choosing, ended up being the one I chose to wrap. So hopefully I get to this one. It's been on my TBR a little while, not too long, and it's all the clues you're gonna get. Just have to look for the video where we do our surprise TBR read to see which book I picked for that vlog. And I am looking forward to 3 of the 4, and hopefully maybe I'll even do an ARC review for Mr. Lullaby. But these might all be vlogs, individual vlogs. That would be fantastic. I am super excited for November. I know I already have gone over about Iron Flame, but I just can't wait to read that. I'm excited about these books. And then of course December will be here, and I can't wait for Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. It's the sequel to Divine Rivals, and we will see you on the other side when we do videos. You guys know what we think of all this. So until next time.